Hey you guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is April, and in today's video we are going to be doing some comparisons with the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Lights eyeshadow palette and the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. I am also going to be doing some swatches and comparisons of other eyeshadow shades in other palettes, comparing it to the Natasha Denona palette, as well as comparing her special shades with other special shades that I have in my collection. And then towards the end of the video, I'll be giving you guys my final thoughts on these two palettes, what's worth picking up, if you should pick up one or the other, or both, or vice versa. This is what it looks like real quick. So yeah, it's probably gonna be a long video, so grab a drink, grab a snack, and I just wanted to let you guys know, if you're like, April, why are you not showing your face in this video? It's because this video has taken me so long to film and edit, and it's just been chaos. So I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please give it a thumbs up. That will help me out so much. But yeah, go ahead and grab a drink, a snack, something, get cozy, and let's get into today's video. Okay guys, let's start with the special shades in this new Natasha Denona palette. I am going to compare some special shades that are in my collection. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with single ones first, and then I will move on to the palettes towards the end, and then at the very end of the comparisons I will compare this bad boy right here for you guys with the Natasha Denona palette. This is back in stock as I'm filming this video. I'm not sure how long this is gonna be in stock for. This is the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Lights eyeshadow palette. It just looks like this. So we will compare this as well. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to take the special shades out of the Natasha Denona palette first, which is Delilah, Sheen, and Mia. Delilah and Mia are sparkling wet formulas, and then the Sheen is glossy wet. So let's go ahead and do Delilah, which is this one right here, and Mia, which is this one down here, together, and then Sheen, which is, where is Sheen? Come on, Sheen, where are you at? Oh, right here. Okay, so we'll swatch those. That is what it looks like on my finger. Ooh, look at how pretty that looks. So that is the three special shades in the Natasha Denona palette. So I asked you guys what shades or colors you guys wanted me to compare this to, and I have what I could get that you guys recommended from me. So let's go ahead and start with Colourpop and the Jelly Much eyeshadows. I have two different colors. I have Shiny Penny and Big Eagle. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, these are not my favorite because these dry out super duper fast. So these are, yeah, like I said, just not my favorite. I will say though, I have already swatched a lot of these so that way I can get my thoughts and opinions before I made this video. So this first one that I'm swatching is Shiny Penny, and it just looks like this on the finger. And then this one is Big Eagle, and I'm just getting it directly on the cap. These look pretty similar from one another. Let me go ahead and swatch these. So that is what it looks like. I will say these are close to the special shades from Natasha, but this is thicker in formula. And I'm talking about the Jelly Much shadows. These are way thicker. I prefer the Natasha Denona ones over the Jelly Much. You could tell like how thick these two are compared to the Natasha Denona ones. So hopefully that helps. And then let's go ahead and move on to one of my favorite comparisons, which are the Urban Decay Moondust eyeshadows. I have two to compare. I'm going to swatch Space Cowboy, which looks like this, and I have Lithium, which looks like this. And then this is what it looks like swatched on my fingers. Now I will say I feel like the Urban Decay ones are way closer to the Natasha Denona ones, especially Urban Decay, Space Cowboy. Like, look at, you can tell the formula just looks super close. So again, these are the Jelly Much. I will have all these listed in order as I swatch, listed down below, so that way you guys know. But these first three are from the Natasha Denona palette, then these two are the Jelly Much, and then these are the Urban Decay ones. So I will say Urban Decay, like I said, super close. Both have the same amount of sparkle. Those are my favorite. I wish you guys can see this in person, how they look. Hopefully my lights are not too bright. I did the best I could. I even tried to lower it, but I didn't want to lower it too much. Let me see if I could actually, let's try that. Oh yeah, that might be better. Oh yeah, okay. Let me go ahead and show it to you guys one more time. Go ahead and move on to Colourpop's Super Shock. I have Ritz and I have Ladybird. Just looks like this. Ritz is definitely a dupe for Space Cowboy in my opinion. They are very similar. The first one is Ritz and then Ladybug. And that is what it looks like swatched on my finger. So with these are very close as well, but not as close as the Urban Decay ones, because I feel like the Colourpop Super Shocks don't have enough base like the ones from Natasha Denona and Urban Decay. These are the Urban Decay ones right here. Then the first three are the Natasha, and then these last two are the Super Shocks from Colourpop. This has, I think you could tell on my hand, you see, like, you cannot see that much base pigment on these shadows. So close, but like I said, not close enough. Then the next ones I want to compare is the J-Cat, let's see, what are these called? These are the Chrome Eye Mousse. Just look like this. I have two shades. I'm gonna compare Frosty Foil and Houdini. Houdini is this like taupe color, I want to say. Let's do Frosty Foil first. This has more, like it says in the name, a moussey formula. Like, see, it kind of reminds me of a Super Shock, but not quite. It doesn't have that base pigment that Colourpop does. I feel like these are more sheer when it comes to the base. Oops. So that's what that looks like. I had to really dig my fingers in it. So these ones I feel like are not close enough. These do not have enough base. Well, this one does, this last one that I'm swatching, but this one on top, you could tell it doesn't have the base like the one from Natasha Denona. You could barely see it, so yeah, I don't feel like that is close. So I am going to go ahead and show you guys the swatches before I take them off because I need more room, but I will leave the Natasha Denona ones up. Okay, moving on. Some of you guys wanted to see the sparkle shade in the Kaja Bentos. I think that's what they're called. Yeah, Beauty Bentos. So I do have this one in Chocolate Dahlia that has a shimmer in it. Hopefully you guys can see that. This one I don't think is nothing comparable. This has no really sparkle in my opinion. That's what it looks like. And then let's go ahead. On camera it does, but once you see it in person, it doesn't give me that special formula. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing special in my opinion compared to the ones from Natasha Denona. So, but you guys wanted to see it, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you guys. Yeah, just trust me. This I don't classify it as being, you know, comparable or anything special. Okay, so moving on, the next one is the Cat Glitter Dazzle Eye Topper. I do have one in the shade Less Bitter, More Glitter, I believe. Just looks like this, and then that's what it looks like. So this one I feel is too chunky and too glittery. Like I could literally feel the glitter once I'm pushing my finger. And oh yeah, you see how thick it is? You're definitely going to be able to tell. This is truly a glitter topper. Like this is straight up glitter. Sorry, I feel like I have something in my hand. I'm going to swatch it and you're going to see like I could feel like the tugging. You see, like it's kind of hard to, you see, like it's just sitting there. And even on my finger, see how it's like there's really no pigment up here, but then all the pigment's down there. So yeah, this I did not like for a comparison. And I'm trying to take it off my finger and you could still see the glitter. Yeah, so this one is just way too thick in my opinion, and yeah, it was just not good in my opinion. The next one I'm going to compare is from Flower Beauty, and it's the Chrome Crush Press Pigment. This is in the color, what color is this? Quartz. So that's what this looks like. That's what the formula looks like. This also reminds me of a Colourpop Super Shock. You kind of gotta press it to get the pigment on the finger. And this one too, I feel like this just doesn't have enough special sparkle for this to be compared to the Natasha Denona ones. My arm is getting pretty glittery, so it's going to be hard to tell, but it's that one right there. And looking at it from here, it's also nothing special. It's very light with the pigment, and it's almost leaning towards a glitter topper, but it doesn't feel like a glitter topper, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I still really like these, but I just don't think they're comparable. One of you guys wanted me to compare the E.L.F eyeshadow, what are these? Shoot, I don't know what it's called. It doesn't have the name, it just looks like this. This is in the shade Moon, I believe. It's so hard to read these. This, no, I don't think this is comparable whatsoever, especially because you have to like use the applicator. I'm gonna swatch it right here so you guys can see. This has no kind of spark. Like it's beaming, but it doesn't have that specialness in it. If specialness is not even a word, but you know what I mean. It's not that special compared to the ones from Natasha Denona, but it is sparkly. It's just not there, you know what I mean? So it's pretty though. And then you guys wanted me to compare the some of the shades from the Tom Ford color quads. So I did go ahead and I pulled out Nude Dip. It just looks like this. So I think what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna swatch it on this hand, just because I really want you guys to get a good feel for this one. And in my opinion, I don't think these are special whatsoever. I say it all the time and I'll keep on saying it. Do not pay full price for Tom Ford. Get these at the CCL. I've gotten all my quads at the CCL. So that is what Nude Dip looks like swatched on my finger. And then I'm going to go ahead and swatch it right here. And then I'm going to try to get real close. You see there's no sparkle. It's just dewy. That's the best way I could describe it. Even though it's not dewy, it's just not sparkly. See, you see the sparkle in the Natasha Denona ones. These ones right here, but not right here. This one you could tell is wet looking. And these are wet to dry. Like you can either use them wet or dry. But yeah, I don't think they're anything special. I don't think they're anything to write home about. But yeah, so that is what that Tom Ford looks like. And then next one I'm going to go ahead and compare for you guys are the Moira single ones. These are the Lucent cream shadows. I have 3 colors. I have Comet, Jupiter, and Infinity. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, again, I'm going to wipe these swatches off so I can give you guys a really good look at these, and then I'm going to actually take the Natasha Denona swatches off and reapply them because I feel like I'm going to mess up the swatch. And then yeah, I'll come back and we'll do some more comparisons. Give me a second. Okay, I have swatched the Moira shadows right here, and then I swatched the Natasha Denonas. Let's go ahead and do the Moira ones. That is what the Moira ones look like right here, these bottom 3 compared to the Natasha Denona ones. And I will say these are pretty close, but the ones from Moira, they have different formulas. I could tell when I'm swatching these, some of them feel different than the other. So just keep that in mind. They're not all going to be equally the same. But like, for example, this one right here that I swatched was in Infinity. I feel like the formula of this one from Moira and Infinity is pretty similar to the special shades from Natasha Denona. But that is what it looks like. I really do like the way these look swatched. That's what that looks like. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to take some special shades and compare from like palettes. So I'm going to just bring these closer to me. The next one I'm going to do, so the first palette is from Flower Beauty, and this is the Desert Lights palette. You guys wanted me to compare this one to the special shade. So I'm not going to swatch all of these. I'll just swatch a couple of them for you guys. And that's what that looks like. You see it's a little chunky when I swatched it. Okay, so these ones I feel like are not close whatsoever. This has more of a creamy filling texture. You could tell. The formula is completely different compared to the ones from Natasha Denona. These are, I feel, not close at all. These have no special sparkle to them. And it's these three down here. You can see better that way. So yeah, I don't think those are special whatsoever. Now I'm gonna go ahead and we're getting to the exciting part. I'm gonna swatch a few of the special shades from Pat McGrath because again, you guys wanted to see the comparisons in the Pat McGrath special shades. So the first one I have is the Subliminal Mothership number 1. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch. Oops, I meant to use the other hand to swatch because I was gonna do it on the other arm. Okay, and that is what the special shades look like in the Pat McGrath. So in my opinion, I'll swatch them. Oops, I'll swatch them right here. In my opinion, I feel like that was a horrible swatch. Pat McGrath is not special. I really do think Pat McGrath is overhyped. They are close, but yeah, I prefer the Natasha Denona ones more. That was an awful swatch. Let me see if I could swatch right here on the side of my arm. Let's go ahead and get another Natasha Denona palette. I'm gonna swatch my favorite one. This one is the Mothership 10 Moonlit Seduction one. This is what this palette looks like. You could tell, like, I love this one so much. Let's go ahead and swatch. So pretty. And then that's what those look like in Moonlit Seduction palette from Pat McGrath. And let's swatch them right here. Ooh, look at how pretty those look. So yeah, I think those are pretty close. But like I said, I prefer the Natasha Denona ones more. That is still very pretty. I'm telling you, I love that palette so much. And then we're gonna go ahead. I have 3 more for like the special shades. You guys wanted me to compare the Natasha Denona face palettes, the shimmer ones that are in these palettes. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I'll do the light palette first. I do have both. I have the dark and the light. And I'm gonna swatch it in the other arm. This is what it looks like swatched on my finger. So that is the light palette. And I will say very similar. Hopefully you guys can see. Really similar. I think you can see. Oh yeah, you can see better like that. See? I think those are very similar. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch the dark version. That is from the dark palette. I feel like the lighter palette is more similar than the darker. I feel like the lighter has more sparkle than the dark palette. But yeah, really, really pretty. So similar, and I like the way these look. Now the last special shades I want to swatch are in this Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette. Not sure which ones I want to swatch. I haven't even touched this palette yet. I guess let's go ahead and do these two right here, maybe. Yeah, we'll just do two. Oh no, and Blissful. I want to do this one, and then these two. I can't put my that is what the rose quartz ones look like. So I will say these are similar, but I feel like the ones from the rose quartz are a little bit more, I think I swatched the wrong one, chunkier. Yeah, you could tell, but very, very similar. Hopefully these swatches helped you guys. Okay, so now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to clean myself up again, and then I'm just going to go ahead and start comparing eyeshadow palettes to the actual Natasha Denona palette. So for example, I'm not going to compare, well, there is one Natasha Denona palette that I forgot to compare for you guys in my first video that I did with this palette. But like for example, I'm going to do the comparison with the Makeup by Mario one. Somebody even requested the comparison to Viseart the Cashmere palette, and then a couple Colourpops and so forth and so forth. Okay, here is the Viseart Cashmere palette against the Natasha Denona palette. I feel like the one from Viseart is more purple leaning compared to the one from Natasha Denona. I will say though, the metallics in this Viseart palette is very similar to what's in this Natasha Denona palette. This is my first time actually swatching and using a bigger Viseart palette like this, and I like the way it felt. I'm excited to use this palette, but yeah, I really don't think this is similar, but I do like this Viseart palette, and I did go ahead and I swatched the palette, the Viseart palette, so you guys can see, like, see, these two up here are from Viseart. Well, this whole thing is from Viseart, but like this metallic shades, these three remind me of the ones in the Natasha Denona palette, and even this one and this one down here, but color story wise, they are not dupes. Okay, next palette I'm going to compare is the Colourpop Going Coconuts palette, and I will say, looking at it like this, it does look very, very similar. I will say this is pretty similar, except for the Colourpop doesn't have the special shades in this one. It's just basic metallic shades, but it is a very close dupe in my opinion. That's pretty cool. I like it. Like, this one and this one look similar, and this one and this one look kind of similar, maybe even to that one. This one to, oops, this one. But yeah, I like the way this looks. And then I did go ahead and I swatched the Colourpop Going Coconuts. Oh my god, these are horrible swatches. I am so sorry, you guys. But you guys get the drift. Yeah, so I need to use this more. The next one I have is from another Colourpop. This is the That's Taupe palette, and it just looks like this. I feel like this one from Colourpop has more taupe shades than the one from Natasha Denona, and then this one has a super shock. So yeah, that looks actually pretty similar. Let's go ahead and just swatch a few shades from this palette. So that's the 4 shades, and then that's swatched horrible. But yeah, I feel like this one is also pretty similar. That's Taupe palette to the one from Natasha Denona. Wow. Okay, cool. I like that. And then I also have the Anastasia Sultry palette. I'm just gonna put it up against, I'm not gonna even swatch. We'll put it up against each other like this. And then this is what this one looks like. This one right here almost looks like this one, except for this one is more brighter. Oh yeah, that's more like of a pink color. So yeah, no, I don't think it's comparable. And then I did tell you guys I had a Natasha Denona one that I wanted to compare for you guys that I forgot. You guys asked for this one, and it is the Biba palette. And in my opinion, I don't think these are similar. Okay, so this is what this one looks like. The one, the Biba is more warm tone. That's what I wanted to say. When you're putting these two palettes against each other, this one definitely looks more warm tone, and then the new one looks more cool tone. And personally, in my opinion, I don't really think the Biba is anything special. I feel like this got a lot of hype, and then when I got it in my hands, I'm kind of like okay, I guess. But I'm glad to have it in my collection, just because I am a collector for most of these palettes, and yeah, I think I would have had FOMO if I hadn't got the Biba palette. But yeah, you could tell this is just way more warm than the new palette. Okay guys, and then the last palette I want to compare before we get to the Makeup by Mario one is Colourpop Smoke N Roses. Again, I have not used this palette. I'm so sorry. I have so many palettes that I need to get through. It's ridiculous, but I'll go ahead and just show you guys real quick. Now, this is a huge palette. Like, look at all those colors in it. I think this has 28 colors, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, 30. They have 30 shades. So this is big. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put it against the Natasha. Again, I feel like this one has more rosy colors. Obviously, this is called Smoke N Roses, and I definitely agree with that title for this palette. This one's more cool tone, the one from Natasha Denona. I feel like the one from Natasha is more taupey nude colors with a couple pops of peachy rose colors, if you know what I mean. But I feel like these aren't really that similar. Okay, you guys, so what I'm going to go ahead and do now is, again, I'm going to get myself situated, clean up this mess, and then I'm actually going to compare the Makeup by Mario palette. And I will also show you swatches outside so you guys can get a feel of what these look like in natural lighting. I'm excited for this. So yeah, let me go ahead and do that, and then we will do these comparisons, and then I will show you this eye look. Okay guys, let's wrap up this video with my final thoughts. Let me start off by saying I do like both of these palettes. I am glad I have both in my collection. But if I were somebody who didn't have both of these in my collection and I wanted these but I couldn't really afford getting both, I would definitely say I would pick up the Makeup by Mario one, just because the Makeup by Mario one is limited edition. I don't know how long it's going to be available, and the Natasha Denona is a permanent palette in her collection. So I definitely would say if you don't have neither of these palettes, I would start off by picking up the Makeup by Mario one. I do prefer the Natasha Denona palette a little bit more. I do like the special shades in her palette more than the Makeup by Mario, and I do like the mattes in Natasha Denona a little bit more, but I don't hate the Makeup by Mario palette. I really do enjoy it. I even said when I did my review on the Makeup by Mario palette that I did really enjoy this palette, so just keep that in mind. The Makeup by Mario is $1 cheaper. It is $68 and the Natasha Denona is $69. The Natasha Denona palette does have more shades than the Makeup by Mario, so that is also something to keep in mind. But yeah, I really do like both these palettes. I am glad that I have both, and these have definitely been well loved, as you can tell, or I could tell from here that, you know, I really do love both of these palettes and they have been getting a lot of use from me. Alright you guys, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments down below if you decided to pick one of these palettes up or if you have both. What do you think about them, and do you think these two palettes are close in shades? Let me know in the comments, and until the next time, I will catch you guys later. Bye.